You're watching Fox 10 Phoenix. Now,
we're going to get back to this Fox 10 News alert that we have been following for you this morning. This is a live image after a man was hit by a car in Phoenix. We are taking live pictures of that crash investigation happening near 43rd Avenue and Indian School Road. The intersection right now is closed. 43rd Avenue is shut down between Indian School Road and Whitten. It's about a half-mile stretch, so you're going to want to avoid this area. So if you want to get around this accident, the best alternate 35th Avenue or 51st Avenue. Of course, we're waiting to get additional details about a possible suspect and what may have happened here.
Another top story is a man is detained after a short pursuit near 27th Avenue and the I-10 freeway. DPS troopers say they used the grappler to end the chase. And you take a look at these images from our ADOT camera, the suspect's vehicle, several DPS troopers, they pulled off on the side of the freeway. The driver has not yet been identified. Still no word as to why he fled, but we'll be keeping an eye on this and be sure to bring you the updated story once we get more info in. Also developing this morning, Canadians who visit our state for more than 30 days must now register with the U.S. government. Yeah, so this new requirement actually goes into effect in April 11th to be exact. It extends the registration paperwork already filled out by people who fly into the country to people who drive in as well. This requires anyone over the age of 14 to be fingerprinted. We spoke with Miles Zimbalk. He is the CEO of Canada to USA, a company that does a lot of the back-end work for snowbirds who want to stay here for the winter. He says a lot of Canadians are worried, and a recent company survey showed 75% of Canadians who take yearly trips to the valley are actually cutting back or canceling their trips altogether, something that could have a pretty big economic impact for us.
There's going to be billions of dollars in tourism money that will disappear, billions of dollars of real estate purchases that will disappear. So hopefully it's not a long-term problem.
The Canada-Arizona Business Council says Canadian snowbirds actually add an estimated $1.4 billion to Arizona's economy each and every year.
Political tensions between the U.S. and Canada continue. New Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney says he will only meet with President Trump if the president agrees to respect Canada's sovereignty. It comes after President Trump implemented 25% tariffs on all steel and aluminum imports this week. Carney says he's ready to talk more about a comprehensive approach for trade between the countries as long as his stipulation is met by the president. And new this morning, President Donald Trump is threatening a 200% tariff on European wine and champagne, as well as spirits, if the European Union goes forward with a planned 50% tariff on American whiskey. President Trump posted the threat on social media this morning, saying the levy would be great for wine and champagne business in the United States. Of course, we don't have champagne in the United States because champagne has to come from the Champagne in France. All right, so let's take a look at how the stock market is doing on this Thursday and another down day. The Dow sitting down 178 points, currently at 41,176. Well, the government could run out of money, and it could come soon as this weekend. Yes,
Senate Republicans are having a difficult time getting enough votes to pass a spending bill. The measure boosts defense spending by $6 billion and decreases non-defense spending by $13 billion. Senate Democrats saying they won't support a continuing resolution passed by Republicans to prevent a partial shutdown, but it's still not clear whether enough Democrats will defect to pass it, with the party split on how to move forward.
We do know and vote to close it, to claim that to protect the government. Again, that's, I've described it. It's like, burning down the village to save it.
Senate Democrats need to hold the line and not pass this funding bill.
Democrats say they want a shorter-term deal, but there may not be time to hammer out an agreement before tomorrow night's deadline.
Arizona Senator Mark Kelly introducing legislation on Capitol Hill. The Protect Our Parks Act and the Save Our Forests Acts aims to restore staffing at national parks and at the U.S. Forest Service. This comes after the Trump administration fired nearly 1,000 national park employees last month, including 10 at the Grand Canyon. The White House argues federal funding cuts will save American taxpayers billions of dollars.
We also have another top story that we're following for you on this Thursday: the disappearance and heartbreaking death of 14-year-old Emily Pike.
DCS confirming to Fox 10 the agency has opened a licensing inquiry into the Mesa Group home where she lived before she disappeared and was later found dead last month.
Lawmakers are now working on a measure to protect more indigenous people in our state. A Senate public safety hearing was held for House Bill 2281. The measure would expand Amber Alert and Silver Alert systems to include missing indigenous people. Supporters say the bill would help protect an underserved population, especially women and girls who go missing at a disproportionate rate. Emily Pike was a member of the San Carlos Apache tribe. Her body was found near Globe on Valentine's Day, more than a week after she was reported missing from that group home.
These alerts are fantastic, but we leave off a segment of population who go missing, and the state of Arizona doesn't even know to look for them.
House Bill 2281 has already passed in the House. If it passes the full Senate, it will head to Governor Hobbs' desk for her signature. Emily Pike's death is still under investigation.
Also at the Capitol, a new bill cracking down on child abuse cases by clarifying who is required to report incidents and the proper steps to take. Supporters say Senate Bill 1437 will make sure child abuse allegations are handled properly. The measure would require teachers, substitute teachers, and school board mandatory reporters to require student victims be interviewed by specially trained interviewers and expand whistleblower protections.
What I have seen is some school administrators are attempting to handle these cases on their own, at times sweeping the offenses under the rug, unknowingly or knowingly.
It also requires mandated reporters to address allegations to a law enforcement agency.
Arizona educators marching at the Capitol demanding lawmakers make public education a priority this session. Prop 123 is set to expire at the end of June, ending the flow of tens of millions of dollars into state schools. The measure takes money from the state land trust and doesn't raise taxes.
What we need is a bold plan from the legislature. What you're going to get are educators who are not going to let this system fall.
The Arizona Education Association wants this issue to go back before voters in August.
Dysart Unified School District is partnering with police to boost school safety. Surprise PD now has the ability to remotely access cameras on campuses during emergency situations. This allows police to view live video to improve the department's response. Several other Valley districts have launched similar programs in the last year. 7:34, talking a little bit about sports. The Arizona Coyotes hockey team may have left the Valley for Utah, but their former owner still has business to settle here in Tempe.
Yeah, some big business too. The owners are suing ASU and the Arizona Board of Regents, demanding a refund of their $3.5 million security deposit. The Coyotes suspended operations last year, which was 2 years into their 3-year lease at Mullet Arena. The lawsuit says ICE Arizona was compelled by the NHL to sell the team, leaving them unable to complete the contract. The complaint also claims that ICE Arizona tried to move the NHL, or the AHL Tucson Roadrunners into the 5,000-seat venue, but there was a conflict with the NBA's G League. ASU and the board claim that they are still owed about $820,000 in rent for the Coyotes' final year.
Fox in space this morning. We have some photos for you. Take a look at this incredible picture of last night's full moon. A big thank you to our loyal Fox 10 viewer for sharing this with us. The big bright moon lighting up our night and early morning sky. And that full moon, it's going to have a different look soon. So this morning we're counting down now to the red moon lunar eclipse.
This is going to be pretty cool. So we have all angles covered for you this morning. Of course, Crystal is going to show us where your best chances of seeing this eclipse could be. But first, we're going to be speaking with NASA scientist Dr. Noah Petro, joining us live this morning. Dr. Noah, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. We've all been very excited about this lunar eclipse. Can you give us kind of in the most basic of terms, what exactly does this mean?
Yeah, a lunar eclipse is that alignment of the Earth, Moon, and Sun, where the Earth passes between the Moon, and the Sun, and the Moon will be completely in the Earth's shadow. And when that happens, the Moon turns that beautiful rusty red color. And that's because the projection of every sunrise and every sunset on the Earth falls onto the face of the moon. So when you see the eclipse late tonight and into tomorrow morning, know that you are seeing the projection of our atmosphere onto our nearest neighbor in space.
Huh.
How cool is that?
That is really cool, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's such a beautiful shade too to see when you look up in the sky. And you know, NASA, you guys have been on a mission. You're orbiting the moon right now, so I'm sure that you've been collecting a lot of data, learning a lot. What can you share with us?
Yeah, so the LRO mission launched in 2009, and I should say one of our key instruments on LRO is a camera that's actually operated out of Phoenix in downtown Phoenix now. And so we're learning about our nearest neighbor in space in ways that we could only have dreamed. We've been mapping the moon for over 15 years, and in doing so, we can actually see the moon change underneath our surface very subtly, but we're actually able to see the moon evolve. First time ever we've been able to do that for the moon. We use this data not only to learn about the history of the moon, but to plan for future exploration, especially for areas near the south pole of the moon, where we hope to send Artemis 3 astronauts in a few years.
All right, you piqued our interest when you said downtown Phoenix. What exactly are we monitoring right here from downtown?
Yeah. Right, so the camera system on LRO is actually operated by a group of scientists and engineers in Phoenix, and they help us understand when to turn the camera on and off to collect that key data to understand the history of the moon, whether it's events that happened 4.5 billion years ago or events that are happening today. The camera system on LRO is one of the hallmark instruments that's helping us understand our nearest neighbor in space, but also photo document the Apollo landing sites, where we have explored in the recent past and where we will be exploring in the not too distant future.
Look at that, a little piece of Phoenix, we're contributing.
I like that, right?
Yeah, doing our part.
All right, if folks want to watch this tonight, we're hoping that the weather is going to cooperate. Give us kind of the nitty gritty. What times are going to be the best?
Yeah, so this is going to be a late night event. So you'll want to probably stay up around 11:30 or so is when totality will begin in Phoenix. You want to be in an area that's away from bright lights, tall buildings. So get out to unobscured areas. Again, the darker the better. Again, around 11:30 is when totality begins. Peaks just before midnight. And so you can actually go to bed a little late tonight, perhaps, and enjoy it. You don't have to be in one particular spot at one moment in time. This is not like a solar eclipse where you have a very limited window. You can really relax and enjoy the show unfold in front of you. All you need are clear skies and clear eyes.
All right,
love it.
Great. So maybe for us early
birds, we can maybe catch
take
the
a
end.
nap and maybe set an alarm, take a look, and go back to bed.
I love it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, Dr. Noah Petra, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me on.
You bet. Anytime.